You're much more moisture than when you first came in.
Sorala, she's been losing weight and not drinking as much, so she's just got some subcutaneous fluids. She's not happy about it. Now she's getting some reward time in Disneyland to play with Bo and move around. Okay. Can release the beast.
Yes. Release the Kraken. Oh, ow, ow. Oh, that hurt. That one hurt. Alright.
Straight to Bo's food. How does he feel about that? You tell him.
So, Sorala's never met Luigi before. I don't know if they've noticed they're there. Oh, that's how we say hello, is it, Luigi? So Luigi's just seen a male and Jay.
The sad part, except for Sorala, is some person out there decided to end these little ones' lives prematurely. Fortunately not, he wasn't successful, or they weren't successful, and we've managed to give these guys a second chance. But it's just terrible to think that there's people out there that would actually try and shoot and injure such tiny little innocent animals without a thought to what the impact it has, not only on the troop, but these little guys, especially when they don't actually kill them outright and they're left there to suffer for days and days and just die, not knowing actually what's even happened to them. Because with the trauma, with the head injury, especially with pellets going into the head, they're not really too sure what's happening, and they're sort of just wandering around, lost everything in life. And totally left behind by the troop because they got no idea how to follow their mother or the troop anymore. So we unfortunately do get some very disgusting human beings out there.
Sorala's just had her head cleaned. She's on antibiotics again because her head's been weeping again. She's just had 10 mils of milk. She's not a big fan at the moment and she's not feeling very well, but she needs the protein and the fluids. Oops. Yeah.
So here we've got Natsuki. She spent a couple of days in sick bay as she got a little bite on the ankle. It wasn't too bad, but we just wanted to clean it up and just make sure there was no swelling. So she's all good now, and we're going to take her back to the intro cage at Angle Key. Mariella has already joined the trip. She's doing great. So maybe tomorrow or the next day we'll try again to let this one back out into the enclosure again. Make sure the string's long enough. There's a couple of ones with its borderline. Alright, back to the foster mum cage. I think she wants out. back home. She'll be a little bit nervous for a while until we get some friends in.
Maggie and Natsuki. So we're gonna have some visitors in with her. So she meets the troop a little, and until she realizes that Jessie and her sister are out, and until they come back by, and she hopefully follows them. She's just quite content in her little world. Here's Oprah grooming Natsuki. So they've been very comfortable around each other. Natsuki ran away from Maggie when she tried to approach, but with Oprah she's quite calm. Maybe it's motherly energy because Oprah has fostered all 3 boys. So Momo, Zebulon and Sky King. So this is now Gladys in with Natsuki. We're probably gonna try her first day overnight with her. Because Natsuki seems very comfortable with her. She ran after her a couple of times, touched her, and now they're both eating together with no issue. So that's very good. Exciting day at Engelke. This is Natsuki. We are today releasing her and her sister Mariella. Jessie's watching, making sure I'm not doing anything to the babies. So we will have in total 5 babies in Engelke troop, with the boys, Zebulon, Momo and Sky King, who are already inside. And then these 2 girls, Mariella and Natsuki. And Mariella is mostly bonded with Jessie, but also Bizu. Natsuki is still very humanized and hasn't bonded with these 2 too much. So we're hoping that in the troop she will find her a good match.
We're here at Engelke, and we're just about to try and release Mariella and Natsuki. So I imagine Mariella will be quite easy, because if you can see just in the middle now, she's been carried by Jessie, and Jessie wants out, so it's going to be pretty quick for her to go out. Natsuki's going to be a little bit more tricky, as she's not quite as attached to the monkeys, so hopefully she'll follow.
Oh, Ellie, I think you might have to.
I can't quite see. Is it Freya? I can't really. Is it Freya or Candle? Is it Candle? I think it's Candle. Or is it Air? Oh, it's Air. She's quite good with the babies though, so I Alright. There goes Jessie with Mariella.
Gremlin is, of course, Jessie's offspring. She's, you can see she's slightly lighter in colour, but the features are very, very similar. She also has that kind of hunchback, and she just has a little bit of a thinner and a smaller face. But otherwise, they're very, very similar, and not always easy to tell them apart. But you can just see what a family group is like. Mariella going between the two of them, not really scared. So this is her little family. Is going to, of course, be Jessie and Gremlin, and that's probably who she's going to hang around with most of the time. So yeah, she's looking very happy, and she's in between her two caretakers at the moment. Some other members of the troop coming over to show their respects and just have a look at the new little one to see what she looks like, just so they don't get confused later. But yeah, they're just giving her the once over and having a look who she is, and introducing themselves.
We've got Jessie, Gremlin, and Bisou, the whole family. Jessie is the mother, and then the newest addition to the family, little Mariella.
So this would roughly comprise of a little family, the same as it would be out in nature. You've got these little family groups that stick together, and then you've got a certain amount of family groups that actually make up the troop. So a family group can be anything up to like about 10 or 12 members, and if you're taking those 12 and then you take about another 6 or 7 family groups, that's what makes up your troop. And then within your troop you've got one family
Jessie
group
and
which is the
Mariella.
dominant group, and they're the ones that actually lead the troop and decide what the troop's going to be doing. So that's what we saw now, one little family group that are part of the bigger picture.
Mariella still being a little too curious in people, but Jessie is very protective. Here with Molly.
Molly arrived in 2016. She didn't really have a fixed foster mom, but was very close to another female called Emma, who's unfortunately passed away now, and another monkey you might see later on called Babu.
Zebulon with Oprah and Kendall. Oprah is his original foster mom, and Kendall is pretty much always with him in the troop. She's very, very protective. Carries him away like this when he perceives danger, mostly people.
While Natsuki's having a nice time there with Oprah just grooming her and giving her the once over. And of course this is a fantastic bonding method, and you can just see how little Natsuki is really, really enjoying this and just lying there and relaxing. I think it would relax anybody if you had the opportunity for somebody just to groom you all over. Sometimes the positions they're getting are quite crazy, but Oprah, if you remember, was born in 2007 to Aurora. Unfortunately, Aurora did pass away, but she's a fantastic foster mom, as you can see, and really looking after this little one.
Natsuki and Chibi.
Well, what can I say about little Chibi? If you remember, he was born in about 2020. He was kept for a pet for about a year, and this little guy just does what he wants to. Introduced himself to the enclosure. Quite a little bit of a personality, and a great friend if he makes one.
How are we grooming Natsuki? So Howie is from last year's Bunch of Orphans. Now excited to have a little sister.
So Howie's mom was actually killed, and she was kept by people for a little while, and was fostered by Bizu.
So we've got Natsuki here outside. She's taken her first steps into the enclosure. So you just opened the door for her as there's no one around, so she is safe to explore a little bit. We've got Danny and Natsuki playing together.
Danny, a 2020 orphan, was actually looked after by Bizu and Gremlin.
Natsuki just went out again and is venturing a bit further than she's been before. So we've still got the cage open for her, that she can run back if she's getting scared. Because we don't want her getting scared and running on the fence. Yeah, she's exploring. Molly grooming Natsuki. She seems to really like her, which is actually really nice to see, as Molly, as an orphan, has been in a similar situation where she had to integrate herself into the troop, not really bonding with the mums. And now she's taking care of Natsuki, who also didn't manage to bond so well with Jessie and Bizu, and just walked out into the troop herself. Maybe she finds herself in her. So, we are going to move Luigi from Disneyland to Engelke to move in with Natsuki and Bizu. But first you have to catch him. So we just moved Luigi into the intro cage of Natsuki and Bizu. He's quite confident, roaming around. He's still avoiding Bizu. Not so sure about her, but Natsuki was happy to see a new friend. Welcomed him. Of course, the thing he's most interested in is food. As usual. Bizu grooming Luigi.
Bizu, as I've said earlier, is one of Jessie's offspring, and her name actually means kiss in French.
Mark is building a bowl holder for Luigi as he drinks from a bowl. Natsuki is very interested in that.
It's very annoying.
As long as she doesn't escape.
It's too big. Take your fingers away. No.
Luigi, very relaxed in the intro cage. Luigi and Natsuki.
Clean it, they just left the door open. So I don't think it was ever closed.
So we're currently looking after this juvenile in intensive care. She did go to the vets, and we're trying to stabilise her. She's in and out of concussion. She does have a fractured skull. So you can see she moves around now and again, but she is in quite a bad way. So we're really hoping that she makes the night.
Here's Charlotte and Emblem. And Gimli is currently inside, and Charlotte really likes him. I think he's growing a little bit tired of playing. I think Charlotte could go on forever. She has too much energy for this intro cage. So hopefully she can go into the troop soon. Gimli and Charlotte. This is Luna. She's also one of the 2-year-olds, so she and Gimli. And she's also been playing with Charlotte, although she's a little more apprehensive with her. I think she needs to get to know her first, and then they will be really good friends. And Charlotte's just really boisterous and playing with everyone, or trying to anyways. Emblem and Charlotte.
For those who haven't met her before, Emblem was an expat that arrived around about September in 2011. She was introduced into the troop with Briani. She's a fairly low-ranked female. She also spent a little bit of time in the sickbay troop, but now she's here in James.
The alpha female, Briani, just came in, and Charlotte is super interested in what she's doing. So she went in and straight away started to discover something in this corner, something that must be very, very interesting. Charlotte just sat next to her and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And Briani is fine with it, which is a good sign. But yeah, she does need to be a bit more cautious around the alpha female and a bit more laid back and careful. She'll have to learn that, but it's so the way she's behaving overconfidently now, I feel like she will definitely get told of at some point. Briani is very patient with her as well. Everyone seems to be. And this is Emblem still inside.
Well, this is just a quick reminder of how Gimli looked when he arrived on the 11th of February 2020. Very withdrawn, found in a pack house, very shy, scared on arrival. We really were worried about him. And just look at the little guy today. He's out there helping others get integrated.
Gimli and Charlotte. See, Charlotte does a very impressive play face with her mouth wide open. Now it seems to have turned into a cuddle. Charlotte is pestering and grooming Emblem. She really likes her, Emblem doesn't pay too much attention to her, but she enjoys the grooming. And she's very patient with Charlotte. She's really all over her all the time and tries to play and be silly. Charlotte and Emblem.
So it looks like Charlotte's actually made a friend with Emblem, and I'm sure these two are going to get on very, very well in the enclosure, even though Emblem is low ranking. Hopefully this will help her have a little bit more support, and hopefully they get on quite well outside.
Charlotte grooming Aisha.
Aisha arrived in January 2016. She was found in a toilet block of a lodge, very, very dehydrated. We're not sure if she was there for about 3 or so days. Very traumatized on arrival. So she actually suffered trauma for a couple of months, but you can see how well she's recovered.
Charlotte grooming alpha female Brianni.
So good to be grooming Brianni, because this is the female you want to be on the good side of. She's the current alpha female, so very, very important that one sort of gets into her good books, which Charlotte seems to be doing very, very well.
Juno grooming Charlotte.
Juno arrived in 2007 approximately. Also fairly high ranked, loves babies, so also another good female to get in the good books of.
Brianni, the alpha female of James Troop, is in here with Charlotte, and she just became completely obsessed with this plate. I think she's looking at her reflection.
Brianni kind of picked up this trait from a metal plate originally. She picked it up and could actually see her reflection, and kept using it as a mirror. And I think that's what happens now in this incident. So whether she thinks she's a very good-looking female, I'm not too sure. But she can stare at herself for hours, or a reflection for hours, just keeping herself entertained, which is actually quite amazing. I'm not too sure whether she recognizes it's her, or just thinks, boy, that's a beautiful woman on the other side there. But yeah, I'm not too sure. But she can do this for a very long time.
Oscar and Charlotte. They've just met for the first time and they've just been playing. And Charlotte groomed her a little bit as well.
Well, Oscar is one of this season's babies. She might have something common with Charlotte, because she was also suffering from brain damage or brain trauma, because people tried to stone her out of the tree, basically to eat her. Fortunately, she was still too small and rescued and brought through to the foundation.
Big play face from Oscar.
So some real remarkable transitions from what these little guys were before when they first arrived, to them jumping around and playing like real monkeys today. It's really quite remarkable to see the progress and how far they've come, especially when you have a look at the earlier footage and you see what these little guys were like when they first arrived here. and how much fun they're having today and running around, especially Charlotte. She's got so much energy, it's unbelievable.
Oscar and Charlotte. So Oscar is the one in the corner. Gimli walking past outside. Big play faces. Charlotte and Gimli playing while Brienne is eating. Oh, and she found a plate again to look at herself in. Charlotte just left the intro cage. She's got Juno following her and Gabe. So she is quite a lot more confident than she was at Gizmo, because she just ran out and now she's already at the opposite side of the troop. Of course, Gizmo is a larger troop, but there it took 2 days for her to go to the other side. So now she's also discovered a global troop and is chatting to them. After a big commotion just now and getting a bite from Oscar on her tail, she came running back in to a safe space. Charlotte just went into hiding. She just got chased around a little bit. You can see she's very, very careful. Just looking around the whole time, very high alert. I'm definitely happy to be in the trees and climbing the bushes. She'll just need a little bit of time to settle in and find her place in the troop. Charlotte on top and Eliza. It's early in the morning, just woke up. Maybe she spent the night with Eliza. Sadly we couldn't really see yesterday, so it got too dark. She seems to really like her and be comfortable around her.
You can just see there on the edge of her tail she has got a bite mark, so she's been put in her place for whatever she's done wrong. I thought something like that would happen, just the way she was behaving with the others, especially with the alpha female. She was a little bit too forward for what she should be, so of course she's going to be put into her place, but she's coping very well, and it's just a small little nip, so she should do okay, but it'll just be a reminder for her that she must watch her place.
Sweet angel Charlotte. She's a bit exhausted from her running around outside. Probably in the night she didn't sleep too well in the new area as well. So now she just came in for a little break, having a nap. Poor angel.
So Bo and Sarala are now in the James intro cage, so we're just checking up how they're doing today. There's Sarala in the feeding cage and Bo climbing well, which is good. I think Sarala's not sure how she got in. Now she's got to work out how to get out again. There's Lychee and Aisha by the fence.
Lychee arrived in 2008. She was about 3 or 4 years of age, so pretty much an adult. She's very humanized. She was kept as a pet, and she does not like humans, especially blondes, for some reason.
So Martina, you've been in here a while. How are they doing today? Like, have they been eating, drinking, going in the feeding cage, or what have they been up to?
At first, Bo was a bit confused where he is, and then he was trying to get into the feeding cage. He was a bit unsure. He was like, I'll come in. Then he was a bit scared. So it happened like a few times, and then he finally got in, and then it was a bit of issue like to get out, but he made it. So it was all good. And now we've got Sarella there. So let's see how she's gonna get out as well.
Good. And I see Bo's got some carrot juice there as well. Is it carrot juice?
It is carrot and apple as well.
Because he's had some diarrhea as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So we're going to check a fecal sample. And yeah, thank you very much, Martina.
No worries. Thank you.
Going to check a fecal sample just to see that there's no parasites or anything for him, and check up why he's got the diarrhea, which he's had for a little while now as well. He was on quite a long course of antibiotics, as has Sarala been, so sometimes it can disrupt the gut flora and give them some diarrhea. So we'll see how they both go, but they seem to be enjoying their new home. Is Sarala going to get out, or is she going to stay in there all day, I wonder? I see Bo seems to like his carrot and apple juice.
So we've just had a new baby arrive. We've just rescued him from town. It appears he has a broken hip and some pellets in the head. And we've also got one of our trip monkeys returning from the vet. So this is Nostrils, one of our males from Camelot, who was spotted a few days ago with a laceration on his scrotum, and his left testicle was protruding. So thankfully he was able to trap him fairly quickly. It's quite a large enclosure, so sometimes can take a while. But he's just back from the vet. Unfortunately he's down to 50% manhood, as he had to have his testicle amputated. But we didn't get him in the afternoon, so it's quite late now. But he's still quite wheezy from the sedation. So I'm just going to hang about with him for a little bit longer until he's a bit more stable. And then I can give him some food and start him on his medication. All our sick bay patients all tucked up for the night. But if we go through to surgery, in here we've got Ellie and Becky looking after baby 41, who we just saw arrive.
Well, Hugo was fairly lucky. The people's dogs actually found him, and it doesn't seem like they attacked him or anything. They just sniffed him out and made the people aware of this little monkey. So one of their neighbors must have actually shot him in the head more than once. Again, they didn't manage to kill him, and this guy's been running around suffering for a couple of days until the dogs pointed him out. The only lucky thing for these little ones is that because it's brain trauma, they don't really know what's actually going on at this point, so they're not frightened or scared or anything of everything. The brain switched over into pure survival mode. So basically all we're trying to do is make sure he survives throughout the night, give him as much fluids as we can. We do know there's going to be quite a lot of head trauma, which takes a bit of a while, but we need to get him rehydrated and comfortable and eating, and then the repair process can start after that. Well, you can see what a difference it makes after one night, and thanks to Ellie and the team, one doesn't realize the stress and the after hours that one has to put in, and waking up every hour or so, making sure this little one is basically getting the fluids and trying to keep him hanging on to life, just to get him through to the first night. If we can get them through the first night, we know we've got a very good chance, and we've got an amazing team of volunteers and people here that are always ready to stand by and give everything they've got to make sure these little guys have that chance. And just look how remarkable it is. Look how he's looking a hell of a lot better this morning, which is fantastic. He's eating. You can see from his eyes that he has got trauma. He doesn't really know. He's not aware of where he is. So he's just happy to have some nice food and be comfortable and everything like that at the moment. Well, again, another one of those episodes with so much going on. I just want to thank everybody out there for making it possible. These little guys would have no chance if it wasn't for the support that we get from everybody out there. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for being part of our family and our members, and for spreading the word. It's very, very important. If you know anyone interested in volunteering, please give them our information. Thanks for watching the ads. We do appreciate it. Again, I really want to stress that these guys are not pets. At this young age, they look like fun, but when they get older, they're big, big problems, and that's where all the trouble comes in later on in their life. So don't think of them as pets. Think of them as being out in the wild and trying to get them back out into the wild. Thank you. See you next week.